Hi, welcome back. My tree is still here, and so am I. And this is one of my favorite units because I really love insects. And they're really beautiful to study. And I hope you can take another class in entomology and pathology to learn more about them. But this is the very basics. And this chapter is a little bit different. This is going to be a really easy screen cast. But there's a second PowerPoint with 7 insect and disease problems for the state of Colorado, and I'd like you to learn about one of those. And so kind of be a specialist instead of trying to remember everything. But this is the general overview in one shot with one question. All right? So, forest ecosystem health. There's growing national concern regarding forest ecosystem health due to an important apparent loss of growth, vigor, which is how strong they are, reproduction, and an actual increase in the number of dying and dead trees due to many different factors. So, the two things you need to know is entomology is the study of insects, and pathology is the study of disease. Insects and mammals all influence the decomposition and dispersal of humus, which is decomposing organic matter in the soil. They fertilize and they aerate by their burrowing. They're pollinators and seed dispersers, and many of them are beneficial predators. So first of all, we have to understand that many insects, diseases as well, and mammals are beneficial to the forest ecosystem. In terms of wood and fiber production, certain insects and mammals are considered pests when they're economically damaging to the forest crop. The disadvantages are they reduce the yields, they damage the appearance of the forest, and they disrupt the management plan and goals. We had a ton of research going on up at the Fraser Experimental Forest up outside of Winter Park. And of course, mountain pine beetle moved in, and that had a huge effect on some of the ongoing research projects we'd had for years up there. Insects evolving over 390 million years. 90% of the species of the animal world. Fire is the greatest enemy, although we also consider fire to be a positive to the ecosystem. Yet insects destroy more timber each year than any other factor. They disfigure trees, they stunt growth, they create fire hazards, and they disfigure pleasant views. Their adaptations, why are they so successful? They're tiny, they have huge populations, their ability to fly makes them able to go anywhere, and there's a great genetic variation, and sometimes they build up a tolerance to some of the chemical weapons that we use, pesticides. Natural populations of insects are normal in a forest. They're held in check by natural enemies. Endemic means they're present in normal numbers, and epidemic means that the losses exceed the growth due to the reproductive potential. And again, environmental resistance is the ability for insects to change and adapt to certain chemicals in the ecosystem. Appropriate manage, the costs and benefits must be weighed to determine the management plan for the whole ecosystem. If you have a small garden, or even if you have a crop, you're able to manage it much easier than a 1,000-acre forest. So it's the appropriate management for the scale that we're considering in forest management. And also the characteristic of the outbreak, the strength, the phase, the host, the history, and things like that are all taken into consideration. Identification of insects. You must know the life cycle so you can understand how to control it or manage your forest around it. You need to know what they're eating, their preferred food. You need to know what the control choices are and what their feeding and damage type is. And that's based on their mouth parts. And that's pretty fascinating to study as well. The methods of managing are divided into chemical, biological, and silvicultural. And integrated pest management is the approach to managing pests using a combination of those techniques that are as effective as possible. So we use a combination of techniques, which is referred to as integrated pest management. Now, tree disease ranks number one, not in killing, but in slowing down the growth of the forest. And it's divided into three categories: abiotic, biotic, and decline diseases. And that includes any deviation in the normal functioning of a plant. So abiotic diseases are caused by environmental factors. Biotic diseases are caused by insects, parasites, virus, bacteria, and fungi. And decline diseases is a catch-all term we use to discuss a combination of abiotic and biotic factors. Abiotic are associated with poor soil, mineral deficiency, drought, higher low temperatures, and also includes air pollution, pesticides, and mechanical damage. You'll see air pollution alongside roads, and you'll wonder why those trees are dying. And you'll see that there's just a band of trees right near the road, which could be caused from salting roads in the wintertime, but also air pollution from cars. And of course, there's larger scale from industry. Biotic diseases are divided into fungus, bacteria, virus, and nematodes. And so the first thing you would do is you would figure out which of those it is so that you would know how to control it. If you were to use a chemical, which is always the last resort, you would choose a fungicide or a bactericide. And those are categories of pesticides. Decline diseases usually include predisposing factors, inciting factors, and contributing factors, which is a kind of long way to just say it's a variety of factors influencing the growth of the tree. Mammals can also damage the forest. Large mammals, porcupine, rabbits, beaver, and small rodents. Heavy use by livestock or large game can damage regeneration. I've, for years, done tree plantings where we put fencing around the whole tree planting or fencing right around the tree to protect from this. And also ways to control the mammals are things like hunting, repellents, food crops, fencing, and protecting the terminal leaders, and logging in the winter. Beneficial effects of animals, of course, are woodpeckers, which would eat the spruce beetles, small rodents that would eat the gypsy moths. Those are just two very, very easy examples. Other damage to the forest includes wind, snow and ice, frost, high temperature and drought, lightning, air pollution. I know you're getting the picture that it's pretty hard to find a healthy forest, but all of these can happen as part of the natural cycle. It's only when they happen in a catastrophic event where it's considered by foresters. And that's all. So, signing off.